The following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers or Rogers TV.
Welcome to In the Know. I'm your host, Emily Andenuevo. Tonight, we welcome back holistic nutritionist Rita Mustafa. She's here to talk about vitamins. Why is it important to take vitamins? What are the benefits? And which vitamins should you include in your lifestyle? Welcome back to the show, Rita.
Thanks, Emily.
Okay, so break it down for me. What are vitamins and why are they so good for you?
So vitamins and minerals are actually what we call organic and inorganic compounds. And basically, they're found in nature. So they're found in plants and animals, our soil, our water. And basically, they're essential for us because the body doesn't necessarily make these things. We have to actually put them into our body by the foods we eat and things that we take, supplement-wise or otherwise.
So here's the question. Is it a good thing to take vitamins every day?
So vitamins, fall under the category of supplement, right? So
Okay.
it should be supplementing your diet, not necessarily, relying on a vitamin or a mineral to give you the nutrients that you need. So, in an ideal world, I would say, a good, healthy, high-quality diet, organic foods, and then on top of that, that's when then you would add in your supplements. And then in terms of supplements, I like to use things like whole food type supplements. So supplements that are actually coming from actual foods. So broccoli and cabbage and fruits and vegetables and all that type of stuff.
So you brought some, whole foods vitamins. Berry Green, is that a brand that's good to go with? What
Exactly. So this is great. This is a combination of different, you'll see different vegetables here, like broccoli and even some fruits, papaya and kale and all that stuff. And so that's basically broken down into a powder, and you can add that to your smoothies in the morning. You can add that to your favorite juice. And again, it's another way to kind of get all those vitamins and minerals that the body needs, but more in a natural form as opposed to maybe a supplement form, like a multivitamin type thing.
Okay, so I'm just thinking, should a whole food vitamin replace actual food? Should you take more of this and have less of, how do you sort of compensate for it when?
I would use it as a supplement. I would still focus on getting more fruits and vegetables and things like that into your diet, and then incorporating this, throughout the day. Especially if you're on the run a lot, or you don't have time to make yourself your own meals, or you eat out a lot, then you might want to supplement with this to get those vitamins and minerals that you're going to be missing out on.
Okay, so here's a big vitamin that everybody talks about, vitamin C. What are the benefits there?
So vitamin C is important for many things. It's important for collagen, it's important for connective tissue. So connective tissue is things like our bones, our hair, our skin, our nails. And it's very important for our immune system too. So we think vitamin C when we colds and flu time, that type of thing. So yeah, so vitamin C is a really important mineral, or vitamin, I should say, that you want to add to your diet if you're not eating, your fruits and vegetables.
And I know we're going to talk a lot about the fruits and vegetables and the foods that you can get your vitamins from, but what are the main sources of vitamin C food-wise?
So vitamin C are basically going to come mainly from our fruits, but also some vegetables. So, kiwis, strawberries, berries in general, even peppers have vitamin C in them. So you can get vitamin C from a lot of good, healthy foods.
Okay, another thing about vitamin C, because my mom always tells me when I get sick, when I get a cold, it's because I wasn't taking enough vitamin C. Now, can it actually vitamin C actually save you when you're actually, really into the cold and into the sickness? Or how can you kind of incorporate that into your lifestyle so you don't get sick and you don't get those colds?
Right. So if you can start pumping in your vitamins or your supplements, right at the beginning of cold, you might be able to stop the cold.
Okay.
But once the cold has become a full cold and it's progressed, you can still use supplements, but the body's still going to have to go through the process of eliminating the virus through the body. But you can use vitamin C and other type supplements to kind of maybe reduce some of the symptoms that go along with a cold.
So why is that such a super vitamin? What does it do to boost, your health, vitamin C?
Well, vitamin C is one of the antioxidants, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. So antioxidants are going to protect our cells, and things like that. So vitamin C is definitely one of those vitamins that is part of that antioxidant group.
Okay. And let's talk a little bit about multivitamins. Is that really important to take every day? Will it help you, get all the vitamins that you need on a daily basis?
Again, I think taking a multivitamin is important. I don't think we can get, especially in Canada, we don't have fresh produce every day that we can grow in the backyard. So, we can't always get all the vitamins and minerals that we need from our food supply. So just always having some sort of a vitamin in your system, whether it be a whole food type vitamin or a supplement that you buy in a health food store, I think people should basically be on something that's going to support their immune system and add more vitamins and minerals to their life.
Yeah. And there's something interesting that the multivitamin does to your body. Let's talk about that.
So you're probably talking about the yellow urine?
Yeah.
So
the
a lot
neon.
of people some people get concerned because once they start taking a multivitamin, they'll notice that their urine becomes this neon yellow color, and actually that's a very natural thing. What's actually contributing to that yellow color is actually one of the B vitamins. And B vitamins, it's a water-soluble vitamin, meaning the body's just going to take what it needs and the rest gets eliminated. And so it's called vitamin B2, which is riboflavin, and riboflavin gets part of its name from the Latin word yellow.
Oh.
So that's basically what's happening. It's naturally what the B2 vitamin looks like. Basically, it has a yellow color to it.
So that's normal. That's a
It's
normal
normal.
thing. If you're taking
It's nothing to worry
multivitamin,
about. Yeah.
people notice that, right?
That's right. So your body's just going to take what it needs and it's going to eliminate the rest.
Okay. So Rita, you also brought some vitamin D. Mm-hmm. What's so significant about that?
So vitamin D, especially living in North America, we're not exposed to the sun, for a good part of the year. And vitamin D helps with many things. It's again it's a fat-soluble vitamin, so it gets stored in the body. It's important for our immune system. It's important to help fight infection. So it has so many uses in the body. So vitamin D is actually a very important vitamin, especially for North Americans.
And then quickly, let's just talk about testing for minerals. Mm-hmm. A lot of people say, well, how do I know what I'm deficient in terms of minerals? So what do we have here? So
what we have here, so we have, so in my office, when someone wants to know if they're deficient in something, or maybe they've come in with just not feeling well and they just can't figure out what it is, then we can actually do what's called either a hair analysis or a urine analysis, and we send that off to a lab, and what comes back is a report something like this. Yeah. And this is a sample report, and basically it comes back and tells us basically our relationship to the minerals in our body. So are you deficient in certain minerals? Do you do you have excess of certain minerals, especially minerals that could be toxic to the body? So things like aluminum and mercury and lead, right? So having too much of those in the body can actually disrupt things like iron and calcium that the body needs.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Rita. When we come back, more about vitamins. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. We're talking all about vitamins with holistic nutritionist Rita Mustafa. So Rita, let's talk about vitamins and antioxidants.
Mm-hmm. So antioxidants are basically a group of vitamins that are going to help protect us from free radicals. And free radicals are basically like little charged atoms, if you will, that can actually destroy healthy cells. Right?
Okay.
So we want to make sure we're getting a lot of antioxidants in the body to protect us from this free radical damage that's happening in the body. And free radicals are happening all the time. So we're being exposed to free radicals. Free radicals are just happening on a regular metabolic type processing that's happening in the body. In terms of where we're getting our free radicals from, so things like X-rays, radiation, being exposed to too much sun, smoking,
really? Wow.
even chemicals, so household chemicals or industrial chemicals. So chemicals out there are gonna actually be part of that free radicals that's going to be damaging our cells.
So we can sort of combat it, prevent it by eating foods that have a lot of vitamins in it, right?
Exactly, especially ones that have high antioxidant value. So
what do we have here?
So here, there's a lot of antioxidants out there, but I'm going to focus mainly on like vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E. So those are vitamins again, but again found in many of our foods. So we can definitely start to increase foods that contain vitamin A, let's say. And vitamin A is necessary for our eyes, it's necessary for our skin. And so vitamin A comes from different foods. So animal sources, things like eggs and fish oils. So we can get vitamin A that way. So think of that as our animal way of getting vitamin A, and then there's our vegetarian way of getting our vitamin A, which
so
is
vitamin A, you can get it from animal sources like eggs.
Yes.
Fish
Egg
oils.
yolks,
Okay.
yeah.
And veggies?
And then veggies. So think of things with that are orange in nature, so rich in beta carotene. So think of sweet potatoes, and think of carrots, and think of pumpkin. And but also they're also available in things like broccoli and kale. So those will all contain what's called beta carotene, which will eventually be converted to vitamin A in the body.
Ah, I see. And can you also have vitamin A in different seeds and nuts, like pumpkin seeds?
Not as much, more vitamin E with the nuts and seeds. So vitamin E are going to come from things like the nuts and seeds that are shown here. Vitamin E is also very good for our circulation. In terms of vitamin E as a supplement, if someone's on something like a Coumadin or a blood thinner, then you should be careful about supplementing with vitamin E on its own, like as a supplement. But food-wise, doing nuts and seeds, you should be fine doing it that way.
Because, I mean, this is everything that we should be including in our diets,
exactly.
right? Like
so
spinach
whole foods,
and kale.
Exactly. Fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, just whole foods, like great foods that our body, needs, wants, likes.
Let's talk about seeds and nuts. Well, why are they so healthy for us in terms of acting as vitamins and acting as...
Again, they're not only do they contain fiber and they contain healthy fats, but they also contain a lot of vitamin E and other vitamins and minerals too. But mainly when we're talking about antioxidants, they're just going to be another source of getting antioxidants into our body and protecting us from things like free radical damage from X-rays in the sun and, smoking and things like that.
So what sort of nuts and seeds should we be eating as a daily snack? Like, what do you have here?
So I've got almonds, I've got hazelnuts, pumpkin seeds. Actually, those are sunflower seeds, but I'm going to be talking about pumpkin seeds later on.
So almonds, I always hear good things about almonds. What vitamin does almonds have in it? Vitamin E?
So one of the vitamins is vitamin E, yeah. It has some calcium in there. There's some magnesium, there's fiber. So everything, all of our food that comes from nature doesn't just have like one important mineral or vitamin. It's a combination of, and that's what's great about eating fruits and vegetables and whole foods, is you're actually getting like the synergistic effects of not just a particular vitamin, but everything else that goes with it, which is what you kind of miss out when you're doing a supplement.
And how about sunflower seeds? What are the benefits there, Rita?
So again, sunflower seeds are really rich in vitamin E, and I like to have people put those into their oatmeals and their salads and their mixes.
You can just top it on your salad,
exactly,
right?
And you can easily snack on those throughout the day, and again, you're getting all the great benefits of nuts and seeds and what's in it.
Because this is what I've always heard, that nuts and seeds are very fatty. And should we be eating them, as a snack, or eating them every day, or should we worry about that we're eating too much of them?
You know what? Everything in moderation. If you're, usually when it comes to nuts and seeds, a handful at a time is basically all you need. Like, you don't want to sit there
like
with a bag of almonds and eat them all, but a little bit sprinkled on your salad, some sprinkled in your oatmeal in the morning, some as a snack. You're fine, and it's healthy fats. It's not like a saturated fat from eating a steak, let's say, which is going to clog your arteries. This actually is going to unclog your arteries.
Okay, so here's another question. What are the signs that you're deficient in vitamins or minerals?
So each one is going to have different signs and symptoms, right? So with vitamin A, let's say, I was talking about how it has a great benefit for the eyes and the skin.
Yep.
So if someone has, comes in and one of their complaints is, they have poor visibility at nighttime, that could be a sign of a vitamin A deficiency.
Oh, okay.
Or if someone has, rough, dry skin, that could be a sign of a vitamin A deficiency. And for vitamin C, as an example, someone who has gums that bleed easily or they bruise easily, or even if they have frequent nosebleeds, that could be a sign of a vitamin C deficiency.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
And yeah, so there are signs, and each one is going to be a little bit different for each of the different minerals and the vitamins, but yeah, so those are the most common ones anyways.
So when people come to you and what kind of testing do you do with them to figure out what vitamins they should be taking? Is it just...
So with vitamins, I basically mainly go by questionnaire. So it's basically when someone comes in, I'll have them fill out an intake form, and based on, some of the symptoms. So again, do they bleed easily? Do they bruise easily? Do they have premature graying of their hair? Do they have a swollen tongue? So those are all signs and symptoms to me that there's going to be a deficiency somewhere. In minerals, it's a little bit harder, so that's where I would go and do like a hair analysis or a urine analysis, have them do that and send it off to a lab, and that it's more of a a better analysis as opposed to just asking them questions.
Okay, so should we be eating all these vegetables with all these antioxidant vitamins and be taking our supplements as well?
Sure.
Is that a good combination?
Exactly, because some vitamins are what we call water soluble, so the body's just going to absorb what it needs at that time and eliminate what it doesn't need. So you want to make sure you're getting, especially those water soluble vitamins like our vitamin Bs and vitamin Cs.
I see.
You want to get that in as often as possible, because again, your body's not going to hold on to that stuff. It's just going to take what it needs and eliminate the rest.
And how about fat soluble?
So the fat-soluble vitamins, those are like our vitamin A, vitamin D that we showed earlier. Those, vitamin K even, those get stored in our body. So that gets stored in our liver, it gets stored in our fat cells. So, it's not that you don't need them or you don't need to worry about putting those into your diet. They're still, your body's still going to benefit from them.
Okay, great. Next up, we're talking more about vitamins and what men should know about taking vitamins. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. We're talking all about vitamins. Now, Rita, men and taking vitamins. I know it's really hard to convince my husband to take his vitamins every day. So what do men need to know about vitamins?
Okay, so for men, nutritionally, they're gonna be different from women in terms of what they're gonna need. And usually, when I see men, it's usually, there's only usually a few things that really can go wrong with men, right? So, but the main things that I like to focus on or like to remind them of is that, the main issues that men have are heart disease and cancers, right? So we want to make sure that we're preventing heart disease, we're preventing things like prostate cancers and colon cancers, which is what men are typically prone to,
right.
Health-wise. So, yeah, so, sometimes it's hard to, it's basically that starting process. It's once it gets into a routine. So if you can get someone into a routine of taking something, then it just becomes a habit and they just do it automatically. But yeah, sometimes they just need a little bit of encouragement in the beginning.
So something like zinc, is that important for them?
So zinc is really important. Zinc is part of, well, it's important for our immune system, first of all. It's important for growth, so not just for men, but for kids in general. So kids who have a hard time, not a hard time growing, but have growth issues, there could be a deficiency of zinc. But basically zinc is very important for the prostate gland. And so again, with men and prostate, you know, it's becoming more of an issue for men. So definitely doing more foods that are rich in zinc. So, you know, that's where our pumpkin seeds come in. Oysters are probably one of the highest foods that contain zinc. But again, if you're not really into oysters, then definitely,
you know, is not such a
not everybody's thing, but
yeah.
things like, you know, pumpkin seeds, our protein, so our beef, our chicken is going to contain zinc. What else do we have? Basically our beans.
Chickpeas?
So chickpeas, yeah. So our beans are going to contain zinc. So basically what we're looking for men is we're looking for about 15 milligrams of zinc a day. So, you know, if you normally when people come to see me, I'll give them a chart and kind of give them an idea of what foods contain, you know, different the vitamins and minerals and in what quantity, right? So they can take a look at the list. Okay, these foods are higher in zinc. I'm going to try and incorporate more of those foods into my diet. But if they find that they really just aren't doing a really good job at it, then I'll have them take a supplement, something that's going to support them by giving them zinc along with other things that are going to protect them from, you know, things like prostate problems and heart problems.
Because how do you really measure how many vitamins you're taking every day and like the milligrams you were talking about? How do you measure that?
So if you're taking a multivitamin, usually they're in the dosage that the body needs to fight off disease. So, you know, if you're taking a good multivitamin, let's say, then you're probably, you know, you're getting the bare minimum. So it's a good thing, it's a good start, but, you know, you still want to incorporate, you know, good foods, whole foods, fruits and vegetables, that type of thing in your diet.
Okay. And I just noticed something here, B complex. Why is that so important? And is that important for men as well?
So it's important for both men and women. B vitamins in general, think of them as our stress vitamins. So it's going to help protect us from stress. So whether it's, you know, work stress, life stress, inflammation in the body. So B vitamins are important for just about everybody, pretty much. But specifically for men, they were doing a lot of testing with B6 and folic acid. So those are two of the B vitamins.
Oh, okay.
And what they're finding is men who are supplementing with their B vitamins, especially the B6 and the folic acid, their homocysteine levels tend to go down.
What does that mean?
And
exactly?
homocysteine is, think of it as a marker that's found in blood work. They can find that through blood work. And the higher the homocysteine level, the higher your risk for heart disease, for stroke, for hardening of the arteries. So just by taking a multivitamin, you're sort of protecting yourself, or at least lowering your chances of things like heart disease.
So what else do men need to know about maybe cereals and vitamins you can get from there?
So I brought some things to represent fiber. So fiber is going to be very important.
Big, right? Okay.
And it's not fiber is not necessarily a vitamin or a mineral, but when you start to incorporate more fiber-rich foods into your diet, you're actually getting more vitamins and minerals. Specifically, when you're adding more fiber into the diet, you're actually decreasing cholesterol levels in the body. So again, you're decreasing your risk of heart disease. You're helping to regulate bowel movements. So, you know, that can help with constipation type issues, hemorrhoids, even decrease maybe your risk of colon cancer, that type of thing. So again, fiber is going to be very important to add into the diet.
And you can get that in cereals then?
Yeah.
Any
so
not whole wheat, but fiber?
Whole grain, and especially oats. So oatmeal, that's an oat cereal, you know, Cheerios, that type of thing, right? So anything with oats, definitely, but anything with fiber in general. And I also have flax seeds there. So flax seeds, again, very high in fiber, very high in omega-3s, which again are going to protect from all the things that we talked about, colon cancers and cholesterol levels and all of that.
So it's not a bad idea to have a bowl of cereal in the morning.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Okay, so what else do men need to know about vitamins?
So again, going back to the prostate, another food that they're finding that's really important to protect the prostate is lycopene. And lycopene is found in different foods, but mainly in tomatoes. So there's a lot of studies being done on the effects of tomatoes, tomato sauce, like just fresh tomatoes, but especially cooked tomatoes are showing a really great results in terms of protecting the prostate.
So is it better to have it raw or to have it cooked than the tomatoes?
The studies are showing cooked, but you know, it doesn't mean don't eat your raw tomatoes. If you like them raw, definitely add them into your diet, put them in your salads. You know, you can't really go wrong by adding the tomatoes in, especially if you're a male.
So would you say tomatoes are another antioxidant vitamin that we can work with as well?
Right. So lycopene is considered an antioxidant, and so yeah. So when you're eating things like tomatoes, there's another antioxidant that you can put into your body, which is not only going to protect you from all that other stuff like the free radical stuff, but it's going to protect you prostate-wise too.
Okay, so here's the situation. What should a typical male in his 40s take in terms of foods and supplements and vitamins? What, if sort of lay it out for us, what's good for them?
So it depends. It depends on lifestyle also, right? Okay. So if someone is really good at, you know, preparing their own meals and they don't have to eat out a lot, then, you know, incorporating a lot of the foods that are shown here on the table are going to be very important. But, you know, if someone travels a lot or, you know, maybe lives alone and they can't be bothered to cook for themselves, then definitely I would look at a good multivitamin, right? And a multivitamin is going to contain a lot of the things that we're talking about, and especially a multivitamin that's specific to men. So usually those vitamins are going to contain zinc, and it's going to contain lycopene, and it's going to contain, you know, other things that are going to be important for men's health.
So there is a big difference between the women's multivitamin
yes.
and the men's multivitamin.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, I mean, it seems like it's easy for them to incorporate all those, you know, factors in their lifestyle. It's about changing your lifestyle, right?
Yeah, it's just, you know, looking at what you eat and seeing how you can make it better.
Okay, perfect. Next up, we're talking more about vitamins and what women need to know about vitamins. Stay tuned. Welcome back to In the Know. We're talking all about vitamins. Now, what should women know about vitamins, Rita?
Okay, so nutritionally, women obviously are going to need different vitamins and minerals compared to men, right? So with women, we have a lot more issues that can go on, right? We have hormones, so we're talking about, you know, PMS, and we're talking about menopause, and we're talking about menstruation and pregnancy.
Okay.
And so all those things, you know, that women have to deal with, which men necessarily don't have to deal with.
So where should we start?
So, so with women, most of the time, in terms of imbalances that I see with women, iron is one of the main mineral imbalances that I see with women, right? So women come in, they have a iron deficiency. It shows up on their blood test. Usually, it's because they, you know, they have the symptoms such as, you know, fatigue. They just can't concentrate. You know, maybe their hair starting that go along with an iron deficiency.
Wow.
But that's one of the main, you know, mineral deficiencies that I see from women.
Okay. So can we just start off by talking about chocolate? Can we actually get vitamins from chocolate, Rita?
We can actually. So
okay.
with women, a lot of times one of the minerals, one of the minerals that they become deficient in is magnesium.
Magnesium,
And magnesium can be found in many foods, but magnesium is also very rich in cocoa beans. And cocoa beans is what is used to make chocolate.
Okay, how about cocoa, and then how about this powder here?
So that's a raw cocoa powder. So what they've done basically is they've taken the raw cocoa bean and they've basically crushed it and turned it into a powder. So this is a raw powder. It has not only magnesium in there, but it has calcium, it has vitamin C, iron. So it's rich, it's full of so many vitamins and minerals. So the cocoa bean is one of the highest antioxidant type foods out there. And so sometimes when...
And it's organic.
And this one in particular is organic. Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, when women are craving magnesium, sometimes what they're actually craving, when women are craving chocolate, sometimes what they're actually craving is magnesium. right? So, you know, just by adding things in like the cocoa powder into your smoothies, or maybe you might add it to whatever, your oatmeal or your almond milk or whatever it may be. So that's an easy way to get magnesium into the body. You've got a chocolate bar
and how
here.
about here? Yes.
So this
here
is
raw chocolate.
That's a raw chocolate bar. So again, very high in magnesium, calcium, iron, vitamin C. So again, so if women find that they're craving chocolate, it could be because they're missing out on magnesium. And especially during, you know, when our hormones start to change, like PMS time before the periods actually start, that could be a time when our magnesium levels are becoming low. And so
is that why we always crave chocolate at that time?
Exactly. So it's the magnesium that we're
answer.
Missing. It's not the chocolate necessarily.
Right.
It's you know, it could be magnesium that's deficient, and that's what the body's craving.
Wow. Wow. So magnesium, we already covered that. That's an important vitamin.
Very important
to have, along with your multivitamin that you take every day.
So you know, magnesium again is one of the most common minerals that gets depleted from our body, especially when we drink coffee, you know, take medications. You know, there's so many reasons that magnesium is going to leave the body, and so we want to make sure that that you're supplementing with magnesium in one way or another.
So let's talk about folic acid and pregnancy. Now, I heard that, you know, if you want to get pregnant, you should be taking folic acid 6 months before you try to have a baby. So is that the correct way? When should you be taking it? Should you be taking it throughout your pregnancy as well?
Yeah, so B12 and folic acid are typically what we recommend for women who are looking to get pregnant or who are pregnant. And basically these B vitamins, what they do is they basically help protect the mother and the baby from birth defects, right? So you want to make sure you're getting a lot of folic acid and B12 into the body.
Okay.
And those, remember, are water soluble. So your body's not going to hold on to those. So you want to make sure if you're going to be eating foods that are high in B vitamins, so your nuts and your seeds and your veggies. You know, if you don't think you're getting enough, then absolutely you should be supplementing with some sort of a vitamin that contains both those B vitamins in there.
So is that the only important vitamin you should be taking while you're pregnant, or are there other vitamins that are?
I would still take a multivitamin.
Okay.
There's prenatal multivitamins out there that are going to be specific to making sure that the mother, you know, is getting the proper nutrients during pregnancy, and most of those prenatal vitamins is basically going to be super high in B12 and folic acid, along with other things like calcium and, you know, iron and you know, other really important minerals that the body needs.
Okay, and can we just talk a little bit about these vitamins that are here? Are these specifically good for women? I mean, it's iron, right?
Right. So I tend to like this company because they tend to make their vitamins not necessarily, you know, as just an isolated mineral that's coming out of a lab. These are usually made from whole foods, right? So they're taking whole foods and they're and they're creating a raw supplement. So your body's actually going to probably better absorb something like this as opposed to, you know, an iron supplement that you just got off the shelf, which doesn't have anything that works synergistically with it. Like there's no vitamin C that goes along with it, there's no copper. So all the things that go along with it are missing. So when you do something like this that comes from a whole food, you're getting all the benefits of everything that goes with it.
Okay, so should we actually be aware of what brands we're taking when it comes to vitamins? Like you said, you like this one. I guess this is vitamin code because it's all organic, or is it all raw?
Most of their products are raw.
Okay.
And so, you know, again, it's not that isolated, just that single vitamin or mineral that's coming out of a lab. These are, you know, these are coming from whole foods, so they're going to give us more than just what one little pill is going to do for us, right? It's going to provide us with a lot more nutrition, and it's going to be absorbed better than the other stuff. So, you know, when you're choosing a supplement or a vitamin or something like that, you know, it's good to ask someone who knows a little bit about that.
Exactly.
You know, don't just go to the, you know, drugstore and take something off the shelf. It probably isn't really doing too much for you in that case, you know, so you want to make sure you're getting something.
So do your research
Do
and get
your
the right
research
information.
and ask the right people.
Okay.
Absolutely.
When we come back, we're talking all about vitamins. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. We're talking all about vitamins with holistic nutritionist Rita Mustafa. Okay, so let's talk about the depletion of vitamins and minerals in your body. How does that happen?
So it happens very easily, actually. So a lot of times, you know, again, by drinking coffee, drinking alcohol, taking medications, eating foods with nitrates in them, like all those things are going to either interfere with the absorption of vitamins and minerals or actually just cause them to just leave the body without actually being absorbed.
Why is coffee? Let's talk about a little bit about coffee.
I know,
Why
nobody
is it
likes
so
that.
bad? Why
Nobody
is caffeine
likes
so
me
bad?
to tell them that coffee is bad for them. And you know what? In all honesty, in moderation, nothing is really bad for you. But when it comes to coffee, the problem with coffee is it's very acidic. So
It's acidic. Okay.
So when
it doesn't taste acidic.
no, but in the body, it's a very acidic substance.
Okay.
So what happens is when the you know, and it's not just coffee, it's, you know, eating too much animal protein and, you know, refined foods and sugars and, you know, things like that. So the more of that acidic stuff you start to put into your body, what happens is instead of, you know, your body using calcium and magnesium to get stored into your bones, it's now using that to buffer all that acidity from all the foods you just ate.
Yeah.
So that's going to eventually lead to problems, right? Because all that calcium and magnesium and all the other great stuff that the body needs is not being utilized, it's actually being used to do something else. Wow. So I know most people don't like me telling them to avoid coffee, but you know, and again, depending on people's symptoms, if someone comes in with osteoporosis and they're eating and they're drinking, you know, 4 cups of coffee a day, that's a problem.
That's a big sign.
That's a problem, right?
Now, is that the same thing goes for alcohol? Too much alcohol can do the same thing when it comes to vitamins and minerals?
Exactly, because alcohol, what happens with alcohol is when we ingest it, the liver actually has to process it, right? So it actually has to metabolize the alcohol. And the liver's our filter. And for the liver to actually detox that, it needs specific vitamins and minerals. So again, and you know, depending on how much you're drinking, if the body's constantly taking vitamins and minerals that should be, you know, used throughout the body to be doing other stuff to detox that alcohol, then again you're going to end up with an imbalance. And especially if someone drinks a lot of alcohol, B vitamin is one of the main vitamins that gets depleted. And remember, B vitamins are stress vitamins, so you know that's going to lead to anxiety and other stresses on top of that. So
it just sounds like B vitamin is such an important vitamin. I keep on hearing that. I mean,
B vitamins.
What's the difference between the B vitamin, the B complex, and sort of the B? I think there's 52 as well. What are the differences there?
So when we talk about B vitamins, we're actually referring to a group of B vitamins.
Okay.
So there's 8 B vitamins. So there's B1, B2, B3. So there's a whole bunch of B vitamins, including B12, which we've talked about. Folic acid is considered a B vitamin. So when you buy a B complex, you're actually getting all those 8 B vitamins,
okay.
right? And sometimes it's sold as a B50, so it's basically 50 milligrams of the B vitamins, or a B100, which is double that strength. So generally, when you want to buy a B vitamin, you want to buy it as a complex. You don't want to just go out and buy one B vitamin because it can throw off the other B vitamins. You want to take them together.
Okay, so Rita, we actually have a caller on the line. Kevin from Richmond Hill has a question. Kevin? Kevin, are you there? Okay, we'll get back to Kevin.
Okay.
We can't hear him quite right now, but let's just continue talking about ways that you can deplete, you know, vitamins and minerals in your body. Salt is another way, right?
Yeah. So salt, and when I'm talking about salt, I'm talking about table salt. So most people use table salt, which is just what basically it is basically a refined product. So it's now just an isolated, you know, molecule. It's just sodium chloride, which, you know, they have to add iodine in, but basically it's just this isolated mineral, which the body, you know, will take, but and you end up with a deficiency because you're missing out on all the stuff that goes with it. So the magnesium is missing, the calcium is missing, the potassium is missing. And magnesium, potassium, those are all things that regulate the heart. So what happens is when people eat a lot of salt products, they can actually end up with high blood pressure because again, they're creating this imbalance.
Because there's nothing good about it. There's all the benefits are taken out.
Right, it's been refined. So, you know, so basically if someone's doing regular table salt, I always have them switch to a sea salt.
A sea salt.
Right? So
is there a big difference with that? Because I hear all about sea salt. And
you still have to read the label and make sure it's genuinely, you know, it is a genuine sea salt and hasn't been refined. And what happens when you buy sea salt, everything that's in salt remains in there. So
intact,
there's almost like 50 different trace minerals that are found in sea salts. So, you know, you're not going to be missing out on magnesium and potassium and all that stuff that affects the heart. So you're going to do much better with a sea salt over a regular just table salt.
Okay. And how about things like asparagus, and what are the benefits there?
So asparagus, well, asparagus, like any other fruit and vegetable, is going to contain a lot of vitamins and minerals. But, you know, specifically, it's going to help, well, with a number of things. So whenever we're depleting minerals from the body, so, you know, let's say a B vitamin, let's say, then, you know, adding things like asparagus into the body, or any green or leafy green, is going to be beneficial.
Okay. And how about, I just noticed this here. I mean, it's a typical takeout package. We have some Thai food here. Is this bad or is this good?
Well, I brought those because together, so this and the soup, so let's say someone had the noodles at lunch and then the soup for dinner as an example. So when it comes to salt, so together those two foods make up your daily requirement for salt for the day.
Salt. Oh,
and that's it. So, you know, if you eat out a lot, or, you know, you buy a lot of packaged foods, you have to pay attention to things like salt, because most of the time, very rarely are they going to be using sea salt in their products, right? They're going to be using the cheap refined salt.
So definitely, I mean, stay away from that. You should just stay away from all those
Stay away from, or at least
foods.
read labels and try and choose things that have, you know, a lower sodium content.
And if you do eat it, don't add extra salt.
Don't add extra salt, I know. And please, yeah, taste your food first before you start adding extra salt to your plate.
And on the other hand, with the salt, the pepper, is that still good to take with your food? Does that have any kind of minerals or vitamins in it?
It's not necessarily seen as a food that's going to provide you with a lot of vitamins and minerals, because you're not doing a lot of pepper. It's usually like a sprinkle, right? So it's more considered a spice than it is a vitamin.
Okay, great. When we come back, we're going to wrap up the show. We're talking all about vitamins. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. For the last hour, we've been talking all about vitamins and the benefits of vitamins. So let's talk a little bit about calcium, Rita. Good, bad? Calcium. Are we going to get a lot of vitamins from calcium?
So calcium is probably one of the most abundant minerals in our body, right? And 99% of it gets stored into our bones. So obviously,
so it's a good thing, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So our bones do need calcium. They also need other things like magnesium and phosphorus and boron and all these other things that go with it. But basically, when we think calcium, we think our bones, right? And yeah, so
we have some almond milk here.
Right. So
good source of calcium as opposed to skim milk, 2%.
So a lot of times when we think about calcium, we've been so conditioned to think that you know, calcium basically comes from milk, right? Cow's milk.
Yeah.
And you know, milk is a food that contains calcium, but there's so many other foods that contain calcium. As a holistic nutritionist, because I'm constantly working with people's diets and, you know, allergies and sensitivities, milk for most people does more harm than good. It's a sensitivity for most people, or even an allergy for some.
Wow.
And so a lot of people can't even really benefit from taking a cow's milk product. So, you know, I tell clients not to worry if that's the case. There's so many other ways that we can get calcium into the body that doesn't necessarily include dairy products. So you were mentioning the almond milk. The almond milk,
yeah.
almonds do contain some calcium, and the almond milk actually does have some calcium in there. So you don't have to worry
But you
about.
shouldn't, what are you saying, we shouldn't rely on taking these milk products as our main source of calcium? We should definitely have supplements to it as well because of all those sensitivities?
Not necessarily. Like, it goes back to, you know, how acidic the body is. The more acidic the body is, the more calcium you're going to need. And so probably just eating, you know, things like, you know, almond milk and some figs and some almonds probably isn't going to do the trick. So for those people, then they may need to go out and actually get a supplement that contains calcium, but not just calcium, right? You never want to do a mineral just by itself. You always need other things that work with it.
Right. And is the calcium vitamins the main source to prevent osteoporosis?
It's one of the things to help prevent osteoporosis. So calcium, sorry. So in terms of... you know, if you are in the age group or leading into that age group that is very prone to osteoporosis, should you be taking calcium pills like early on? Exactly. So yes, so calcium, when someone comes into me with osteoporosis or any bone type issue, osteopenia, just softening of the bone, then there's different strategies I take. So one strategy is obviously to put calcium in and things that go along with calcium. So that may mean copper, magnesium, you know, vitamin K, vitamin D, all those things that the bone needs. So not just calcium, but all the stuff that goes along with calcium. I also look at changing the diet. So there's no point in putting all this calcium into the body if you're going to continue to drink coffee and have refined sugars and refined flours and all these foods that are going to continue to just keep your body acidic, because all that calcium you're putting in is just going to go towards buffering all that acidity. So I look at it in different ways, not just calcium.
Okay, and here we have another supplement here from the Vitamin Code brand, raw calcium, like we were talking about before. Not only does it have calcium, but other things in it as well?
Exactly. So it's coming from foods typically, and so, you know, it's going to help build bone density. It's going to prevent bone loss. You know, and you know, it's not to say that, you know, if you have calcium at home and it's not a raw product that it's not working for you. You just need to read the labels. What else is in there? What else is missing? If it's just a calcium, you know, go out and get a magnesium that needs to go with it. You need vitamin D, you need vitamin K. So, you know, it's not that what you have might not be working, but it may not be the only solution. You may need to rely on some other things or talk to someone that can help you figure out what you need to take.
And what are the main signs that you are deficient in calcium?
So osteoporosis is one of them.
But just the hurting of the bones? You know,
yeah,
people
so
be
even
feeling
fractures.
weak?
Some people don't even know they have osteoporosis until they break something.
Wow.
And osteoporosis is typically in the wrist, the hip, the back, right? So, you know, they'll break something and then they'll go get, you know, x-rayed or whatever, and then they find out, oh my God, I have osteoporosis. So a lot of people don't even know that they have a problem. But other sign of deficiency could even be like a muscle cramping or even high blood pressure, that type thing. So because it also regulates the heart muscle along with magnesium and all those other vitamins and minerals.
And another good food source that we've been talking about throughout the show, chickpeas.
So chickpeas are great. Any legumes, basically any of the legumes like the lentils, the black beans, the navy beans, all those beans are going to contain calcium along with so many other things that we talked about, like we talked about fiber and things like that. So yeah, so those should be very easy to incorporate. Throw them on your salads and, you know, make hummus and things like that.
Now, you've written a cookbook here, and it's called Wheat-Free, Dairy-Free. Are we going to find a lot of vitamins and minerals in these recipes, Rita?
So so this book is made mainly using whole grain, whole food type things, right? You're not going to find refined flour in there. You're not going to find refined sugar. Definitely everything you sea salt and not refined salt. So yeah, definitely in there you're not going to find any of the stuff that's going to promote, you know, elimination of all the important vitamins and minerals that your body really needs.
So just to wrap it up quickly, Rita, when people come to you and you know, they want to know what they can be taking in terms of vitamins and minerals, what is your main tip to them when they come see you?
So basically, you know, educate yourself or you know, go to someone who knows a little bit about vitamins and minerals and get yourself a good multivitamin. That's always a good start.
Good multivitamin, yep.
Yeah.
And what else do they need to know?
And I would buy a whole food supplement. So whether it's one of those green supplements or the supplement that we showed in the beginning where it's basically fruits and vegetables that are ground up into a powder and you just mix it into your smoothie and away you go.
As easy as that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rita, for being on the show again, talking all about vitamins. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.